Good evening to everybody in Europe, the Middle East, and Africa. Good afternoon to those of you on the East Coast of the United States, and very late good morning to those of you in the Pacific part of the U.S., which is where I am right now. So it's great to have you here on the Packard Network Live, and I have a very special guest, somebody that I'm going to introduce now that is does very special and unique work, and and so let's kind of get right into it. And the topic, one of the big topics we're going to talk about today with this wonderful woman, is the how student mentorship can prepare our youth for the future, because the future is our youth. Okay, and we're going to talk quite a bit about that as well. And there's a lot of lessons that you will be able, you the viewer, will be able to pick up from my very special guest today, that you can apply, whether you're a parent, a teacher, or anybody in the community. That we would both encourage you to mentor students so that we can help bring them along. And that's really what the purpose of today is in terms of outcomes. But I'm also going to share some wonderful profile, background, and history of my special guest, who is coming to us live from Nigeria today. And her name is Eunice Ifeanyichukwu. Eunice, welcome to the program. It's great to have you here.
Thank you, Brett.
Great. And so Eunice is an innovation strategist, a diplomat at the Federation of International Gender and Human Rights. That's FIGHR, for those of you familiar with that. She's an HR generalist. She's an entrepreneur. She's a marketing specialist. She's an ideator, a protagonist, a speaker, and founder of See Differently Cluster Mentorship. And every one of the things that I absolutely love about Eunice, who I've known for a couple of years now, is that everything that she does is underpinned by her gratitude to God. And I share that value as well. And so I'm really excited to have Eunice, you on board the program today. And Eunice is a change agent. If you're looking to change, she's the person to know. If you're not looking to change, then maybe not. But she's a change agent, knows how to do that. And that's important because the world around us, as we all know, is constantly changing. So it's important that we stay ahead of those changes, that are happening around us. And Eunice does a lot of work with women and the youth, which we'll get into in a lot of detail. She's contributed to just countless charitable campaigns. She's a big community voice. She's got a big voice on LinkedIn. She's was one of the community voices delegates on the issue of farmers and headers conflicts in Abuja, Nigeria, back in 2017. And last but not least, Eunice is a stakeholder in the SACE USAID Share Out, which is a collective impact capacity building initiative in Nigeria. So my guest today is a role model for what it takes to impact the community that we operate in. And so I would strongly encourage all of you to get active in the communities, because those that are the most active in your communities are in a position to impact more and more people. So would you agree with that, Eunice?
Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much for this introduction. I sincerely appreciate that. I also want to say
Great.
that I'm glad to be part of your podcast today. It's an honor and it's a privilege. Thank you so much.
Great. It's my pleasure to have you on board here, and for those of you that are tuning in live, thank you for your time. We already have some people knocking on the door here, and please feel free to tee up any questions as we have our conversation moves along. And for those of you that will be watching this on replay, which I acknowledge that will be most of you seeing this, please also feel free to put in questions, comments in the dialogue, and Eunice and I will be very happy to engage with you, even though you're not watching us live. So let us know where you're tuning in from, if you are tuning in live, and I'll be happy to do a shout out here to you as we kind of move along with our conversation here. And we've got some people here. We've got Momo Kamal here. Excellent conversation. We've got Ambreen here, who I know Eunice and I both know you, Ambreen, and Ambreen is tuning in from Saudi Arabia. And for those of you that are not following Ambreen, please do so, and please do so right away, because this month is Mental Health Awareness Month, and Ambreen is leading many initiatives to draw a lot of attention to the fact that nobody on this planet is alone. Okay, and because nobody's alone on this planet, there's plenty of people to talk to seek help, and it's a sign of strength to ask for help if you need help. So I encourage all of you to do that as well. And amazing guest, I agree with that. And we have Pranay here as well. Pranay, I know, is tuning in from India, and it's great to have you join us, Pranay. Thank you so much as well. So, Eunice, let me just kind of start by talking a little bit about your background. It's very comprehensive. And what inspired you to be a mentor for students? I'm interested in that, and also women. That you also mentor a lot of women. What inspired you to do the work that you do?
Thank you so much. What inspired me is, or that keep inspiring me, is God. You know, I can do nothing without Him. There is nothing I can do without God. He has been my greatest builder. He has been my greatest helper. He has been an amazing father. I see him as a father. So he's the one, and because I'm also someone that maybe I've seen a lot of things while growing up and all of that. So I felt it's also very important that I can use my experience to change a lot of things. And that's exactly what I'm doing. So, you know, growing up is difficult. And when you have students around you that already have a fixed mindset, they already say, okay, that education is all about grades. All right, look at the society that once coddled us, a society that looked after us, is ready to deal with us, is ready to taunt us. You know, they already have that fixed mindset. So we are trying to see what we can do through my organization, the program we formed. You know, the See Differently Cluster Mentorship is primarily for the students, you know, to take care of their needs and to mentor them, sharing them into clusters, seeing what we can do. We started that not just about getting to 2 years now. It's still very new. So God is the one that inspires me. God inspires me. My experiences also inspired me. We cannot have talent and then gift and leave it just like that lying low, when we have to use it, you know, to make a change, to transform lives and all of that. So that is it.
Right, exactly. And what do you find are some of the biggest challenges, Eunice, that the youth faces today? Because obviously, the youth are probably more creative than we as adults are. That's based on my experience. They're more creative. They're not as afraid to take risk and everything, but they're lacking a lot of the experiences and learnings that we've had in the real world. What do you find is the biggest benefit to a student to have a mentor?
Yeah, it's very, very important for students to have mentors. You know,
Yep.
before we started this, we noticed something about the students. Some of them are truants, you know, they don't come to school. Some of them, they don't do their assignments. Some of them are nonchalant about a lot of things, you know. Some
Yep.
of them, you know, because they live, they're like house helps, you know, to some people. Um, you know, they don't, they always feel bad. They're not happy. You can't see them happy. They're always fighting, complaining, and something like that. So I know that something was lacking in their lives. You know,
Right.
something was lacking in their lives. So that was exactly what prompted us to get into that. The challenges we're having is that, you know, we need to be taking these students for excursions, some of the things we teach them, because we have a lot of people in our group, such like we have psychologists and the lawyers and all whatnot. We know that it is not about what they study in school, like physics, chemistry, biology, integrated science, and all of that. That's not the major issue. You understand?
Right.
It's just they're just beginning with that. But there is the main thing that is going to get them ahead, and that's exactly what we're talking about. When these students will tell you that if, okay, I cannot even get a job if I finish and all of that, you know, that kind of thing. So the challenges we're having is that we're thinking of, because we want to be taking them around, like excursions. Some places we go, we use nature to teach them. For instance, you know, that this particular program was founded on seeds. You know, we talk about seeds because when you mention seed, seed is connected with life. Seed is connected with anything that is alive. So it is seeds that we used, you know, when we were forming this. And I want to tell you that the greatest truth in life is about the concept of seed. The greatest truth in life is the concept of seed. A seed carries within itself a new life. And it is only when that seed dies and buried that it can bring forth that new life. So with that kind of mindset, we use nature to teach the students. We take them to oceans where we teach them, we talk to them, we tell them about animals, how they react, and all things like that. And I think they are being fascinated about it. They are happy because they feel they're learning something from a different angle. We are taking them from a different dimension, like we are doing things differently. So that's the only challenge we have, because it's something, it's not long ago, just 2 years now. So these are things, but those challenges we're on top of it. We're on top of our challenges. And obviously there's no way, you know, if you are alive, you will always have a challenge. So those challenges are even the things that are pushing you to do more. So that is it.
Yeah, I think in just my opinion that this is incredible work that you do, because if you mentioned, you know, it's not just about chemistry, mathematics, English, writing skills. You know, those are all technical skills that are important in the development and the education. But these things that you're talking about, they're life skills. They're skills that I can tell you, and I think you know this as well, there's a lot of adult leaders around the world that don't have the proper life skills to be leading people, such as empathy, even kindness, the ability to listen, the ability to express compassion. So many different things like this are missing in many adults even. So, I mean, this work that you do is imperative for the youth. And do you have a comment on that? That's just my initial response to what you said.
Yeah. One thing again, I just want to let you know is this. You know, the See Differently cluster mentorship, which is
Yes.
yes, is out of the box thinker. The See Differently cluster mentorship is out of the box thinker. It's also a community of learners that is driven by purpose. You see, everything that irritates us about others can make our own life more meaningful when we become innovative and creative. So students need innovative spirits that focuses on growth mindsets. This is the only way they can look for new ideas, look for new opportunity.
Right.
You understand? So, and that's exactly what we're doing, because we know that behavior is rooted in attitude. And the students need to know where the direction their attitude is taking them. So this is why I'm telling you that the See Differently cluster mentorship is out of the box thinker, and it is something that is taking the students out of place. This is a program that, you know, we try to share the students into clusters. We share them into clusters because outside the teaching and learning in classroom, you know, outside the teaching and learning in classroom, we have time to bring them, share them in clusters. We talk to them, they talk to us, we share our stories. We tell them that we have been there and we have even seen worse things than what you are seeing. You see, sometimes a lot of people don't like to talk about their stories. They don't want to talk about anything about their lives because they don't want to feel very small. They want to feel big in the eyes of people. But if you don't have a story to tell, if you don't have a story to give to the younger ones, then what is it? You are not leaving any legacy. You understand? So we try to share our stories as we, you know, keep them in clusters. We talk about emotional intelligence. We talk about critical thinking, which I know you talk about. You talk a lot about critical thinking. So we empower the students to become autonomous learners and the agents of their own change. What do we mean by that? You see, when students are autonomous learners, they have independent mindset where they can make good judgments, where they can make good decisions without anybody interrupting it, without anybody bringing in something or trying to pollute the decision they are making. These are the kind of students we are trying to raise. Students that if they have a problem, they can be able to tackle it. Not waiting for someone else to deceive them. Not students that are going to start forming cliques, gossip, and all the rest of them. That's not the kind of students who are training. So this mentorship is taking a whole lot of, you know, it's a holistic kind of thing. That's not just about the educational part of it, but also the life and attitude and characters of the students. And this is very, very important to us. It's something that we're not joking with, because right now, the feedback we're getting from the students is wonderful. The students are beginning to be happy. The students are beginning to have small joy. The students are beginning to have open mind. Not, you know, initially they were having this kind of, you know, closed hearts, not really having an open mind, you know, and all of that. But now I can tell you, you see them, they can talk to you, they can come to school and say, Auntie, look at what happened to me today. They want to share their stories with you, and they want to be open and all of that. This is the only way we can reduce crime in the society. This is the only way we can catch them young. This is the only way we can raise great children. And that's exactly what we're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really impressed. And you just said a lot there. And you said something a few minutes ago that I'd just like to reinforce. And you said that behavior is rooted in attitude. And that is really important, because a lot of people they see somebody expressing some behavior. Let's say it's bad behavior, right? Causing trouble, or let's say it's insecure behavior. Let's say that people are on social media. It's a problem, right? And they're frustrated because they don't get likes, or they don't get, whatever they're trying to get out there, and they program themselves for the behavior, but really the way to address it isn't to attack their behavior, it's to focus on the attitude. I think, do I have that right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, because one thing about it.
Yes. Let's talk about this for a few minutes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Attitude. Let me tell you, there's something I want to tell you. I come to the attitude. See, I lead from behind.
Yep.
And because I know the importance of leading from behind. When you lead from behind, when you're building a community of people that is united with shared goals, common interests, and all of that, you will also, when you lead from behind, you'll be able to cultivate empathy, you'll be able to cultivate curiosity, and you'll be able to cultivate stability. So why I decided to explain this is because it's very important to know the kind of person you are and the kind of leadership which you take. Your style of leadership is very important. So I lead with 2.0 mindset. What does 2.0 mindset mean? 2.0 mindset means, it's in a simple way, just the way you think and the way you do things. The way you think and the way you do things. And it's totally, you cannot see any bias there. You can't see any bias. You won't be able to mingle with nonsense because you don't have time. You won't be able to mingle. You have your own heart. You can make your decisions without any interruption from anybody. You see, the thing that has affected gratitude is because people say one thing and they're doing another thing. You can't be saying something and be doing another thing. You can't be talking about kindness, talking about compassion, talking about a whole lot of things, and you are doing a different thing from what you're saying. You understand? If every one of us, we practice what we preach, because that's where the efficacy lies. If we practice what we preach, I am telling you, see, we have enough in this life. We have enough in this universe. We have enough in this universe that is going to go around everyone. But unfortunately, these things are not being distributed perfectly well. And sometimes you see people, when they're talking to you, they're treating you in a way like the more you see, the more you look, the more they talk, the more you see. You understand? You can be very clear about their manners. You can be very clear. But then that's not what you are going to be talking about. You have to really show example. By yourself, it doesn't matter what it's going to take you. Yes, it's not very easy, because when you see attacks from here and there, and you begin to ask yourself questions, why is it like that? What have you done? You can't even believe it. What have you done? And all of that. But then it's one of those things. For me, you cannot escape challenges. You cannot escape challenges, because if you want to escape challenges, that means you don't want the roots of characters. Roots of characters, just as you are talking about attitude. Roots of characters come from challenges. And what are the roots of characters? Something like conviction, something like resilience, something like learning, creativity. All these things are roots of characters. You understand? You need to have them if you are able to allow yourself to pass certain challenges. There is no point trying to, pay back, tit for tat. No, there's no need for that. Tit for tat is not a good thing. It's a bad circle. And a lot of people do that. You don't have to do tit for tat. If you feel that you are no longer, this person is no longer, you cannot condone what somebody is doing, just block the person and let the person go. There's no point trying to do tit and tatting The circle is bad, and it creates a lot of evil things. See, LinkedIn is a very wonderful platform. You understand? It's a platform that if you're serious about what you're doing, you will get what you want to do, and you are going to be patient about what you're doing. So, and everything is all about attitude. Everything is all about attitude. You see? And when you talk about networking, just like the LinkedIn platform we're talking about, it has something to do with connectivity. And when you're doing something with connectivity, it means that you are linked. This one linked with this one linked with this. It's not something only you can achieve something. It's something that everyone will have to come together, and then with one spirit, you will be able to achieve something. We cannot achieve anything when people are busy throwing stones on others, trying to do one or two things, gossiping, entering into cliques, whispering, and doing all manner of things. We cannot achieve anything. But we can utilize this platform, this wonderful platform, and do something that is unique and do something that is wonderful. Thank you.
Right. I think you're right. I think a lot of it is, I agree with you. I know you and I do that every day together on different concepts with the objective of teaching other people the winning attitude, which drives the behavior. And also, I would say that it's very important that getting back to LinkedIn, it's a lot like an airplane, like a commercial airline, except there's no seat for a passenger. Okay, it's only for pilots. My plane, your plane is only for pilots, which is leadership. It's not people that are sitting there that are hypocrites, sitting in the passenger side that are what you just said a few minutes ago. I often talk about it as well. People that say one thing and do another thing, that's not good leadership because people are watching what the leaders are doing. And I've been talking a lot about hypocrisy lately. And somebody asked me last week, I did a post about this earlier today, why are you talking so much about it every day for a week? And the reason is that I want to show people, based on my own experience, what bad looks like. Because if you understand what bad looks like, then you can detect it. And then we can teach people how to manage it, because you can't ignore it. What you do, if it's something bad, you can block it out and all of this, like you mentioned, but there will always be the next person that comes. And maybe one of the things that you do with hypocrites is you block them out. I know I do that. I get them out of my life. If I have a hypocrite that I've learned is a hypocrite, then they're gone from my life. I just block them, like you said, right? And so it's important to understand and educate people on what good looks like, but also what bad looks like, so that you can avoid it. Any comment on that?
Come again. Let me hear what you're saying.
I'm just saying that that it's important to indicate what good looks like, but it's also important to show people what not good looks like, so that they can avoid it and manage it. And I think these things are. I think that that's really the point that I wanted to make, is that a part of educating people is showing them what not to do as well.
Yeah, it's part of the education of showing people. I do that too, because sometimes when you just keep quiet, people will just take you for a ride, and they will feel that this one doesn't know anything. People like underrating people. People like to look down on people and all of that. But I'm wondering why people should be doing that. Educated people.
That's a whole different. Yeah,
It baffles
exactly.
me why an educated person should be looking down on someone you don't know, nothing about, simply because probably you have taking a decision in your heart. Maybe your imagination must have told you something and all of that. You begin to look down on somebody. The world we live in, let me tell you something, Brett.
Sure.
The life we live in is a very mysterious place. The world we live in is a very mysterious place.
Yes.
People should not just think that, reading and writing is just the only education. Bring in wisdom in what you're doing is very important. Bring in wisdom, because life is too mysterious for you to be playing a kind of pranks or what kind of behavior, attitude towards somebody. It is uncalled for. It is uncalled for. If we say we want to get things right, we must start with ourselves. If I begin to have compassion on myself, I want to be kind to myself. I want to tell you, if there is any real authentic kindness to myself, I don't need to struggle to give it to somebody else. I don't need to struggle to give it to, because it will flow. It will just flow. It becomes so natural. And
it's natural. Natural. Right.
You understand? You don't have to force it for any reason.
Right.
But the issue is that because this kindness, we don't have it, and we talk about it. That's why we struggle with it. We talk about it every day and say kindness and compassion and all the rest of them. We keep on talking about it. You understand? Yeah. Why not put it into action? Because it's in the action you see the efficacy of what you're doing. It's in the action. You see the efficacy. You can wake up each day, begin to show gratitude. Your part of gratitude should be that you're kind to people, authentically. To people.
Right.
You understand?
Yeah, and that all starts by being kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself. Yep.
We have a lot of micromanagement everywhere. It's not just in maybe office or your workplace or anything. A lot of micromanagement, if it's everywhere. We should, as much as possible, if we really want to get what we want to get. Because let me tell you something. Where we are is, if, for instance, like yourself, Brett, if you are ready to have, maybe you have the same mindset with my mindset. Another person has, coming together, we can do something great. You understand? We can do something great. It's not about, because when we say, take care of yourself, you show kindness to yourself, do this, do that, I don't really understand that. I don't need anybody to tell me I should love myself in the first place. I don't need anyone to tell me I should love myself, I should be kind to myself, because I know that this is what is in me already, that I must love myself. And through this love I have for myself, I can bring it and show it out to others, to affect others' life. So that's the point I'm trying to make. We don't have to struggle to give, to show compassion. We don't need to struggle to show kindness. We don't need to struggle to be empathic. I really don't understand that kind of method. Something is strong somewhere, something is strong somewhere. And that thing that is strong is something that we have to close up. The vacuum, we need to close it up. Because for myself, one of my mantras is that I want to add value to human life. I want to add value to human life. And this is very important when we begin to talk to ourselves, encourage ourselves. Why don't you do it this way? There are some things we have struggled for years. We struggle for years. We are not able to get it. Why don't you change and do it the other way around and see whether it is going to work that way? Instead of just sticking to a particular thing. Why don't you change to do it some other way? By being kind for real, by being empathic for real. Yeah.
Yes, I agree. And I think that I was telling somebody earlier today that the moment that you can see another human being with your heart, not your eyes, is the moment that you can truly express gratitude. Okay? Because you're looking at their heart. You don't need to look at you don't need to rely on your eyes to look at their face and to look at the way they dress and what they own and all of these material things in life, which are really immaterial. But if you can use your heart to see other people's heart, you can truly express gratitude and kindness. And until then, Eunice, if you can't do that, then you're not going to be able to live on the track that you're talking about. I think that's my opinion.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I also
I want to. Yeah, Eunice, just one second. Hold your thought. I'm going to come back to it because we've got some comments here as well, and I just want to acknowledge some of this as well. We have Pranay here who said the biggest factor driving us ahead in life is the gratitude is the key. We agree with that. And Pranay also couldn't agree more. Society is too frozen. Despite breaking the chains and helping people serve their purpose is the ultimate flex. Any comment on that, Eunice?
Absolutely. I've said that before. You see,
you have.
I've had people say that after all, it's social media, after all, social media, after all, it's social media. Why are you there? Why are you there in the social media? In the first instance, if you don't have an aim for being in social media, why would you say, after all, it's social media? But I want to tell you that a lot of people have gained a lot from social media. People have gotten married in social media. People have done a lot. People have made millions in the right way in social media.
Yep.
People have grown their brand, their professional skills and everything from social media. So why would you say, after all, it's social media? You don't know somebody, you don't know this person from where the person is coming from. Having that kind of mindset is bad. So this is why I'm saying that everything we're doing is all about mindset. We must work on our mindsets. We must work on our mindset. It's very important. When we have a growth mindset and a good mindset, just like I told you, the 2.0 mindset that is all about talking about the way you think and the way you do things. It's very, very important. When we shift our mindsets, we will begin to see things from a different perspective. We will begin to see that with patience and humility, hard work, empathy, I can achieve more.
Right.
You understand?
Absolutely.
I can achieve more.
Yeah.
Some people will come to social media to just cause trouble. They are there to cause trouble. They are there to whisper, different negative whispering and all of that.
Right.
What are you achieving with that? What are you achieving? I want to let people know that the measure you measure that will be measured back to you. It's just a matter of time. Don't even say that it's because it's social media. Because no matter where you are, social media, many of us spend most of our time in social media, and you still saying, is it social media? You are still asking, is this social media? You understand? We spent most of our life, we have spent most of our life in social media, and you are still saying, is it social media? How else do you want it to be? How else do you want it to be? You understand?
Yeah.
So it's all about mindset. We must all work on our mindsets.
I agree.
Work on mindsets. Everybody must work on his or her mindsets. That's the only way we can move forward.
I agree. I have a unique view on social media, and it's the same view that you have, but I'll give an example of how I describe it to people. In my opinion, the proper way to use social media, which is number one, it should not be your whole life, but what social media can do is I look at it like a library, like an old-fashioned library where I grew up. I'm 59 years old, so I know I'm getting up there in age, but I grew up in the 1970s with no computer. There were no computers. There was no mobile phone. There was a TV. There was a radio, and there was a library. Okay, and a book. So if you want to learn something, you had to learn how to read, and you go to the library and you can rent a book, or you can go to the library and spend 3 hours there and learn, read and learn. And so I view social media as a place like a library. You go to the library, you can learn, you can meet new people, you can network people, you can give to other people, you can teach other people, which is what you do that every day. So do I. You teach other people, you teach and learn, teach and learn, teach and learn other things. And then you leave. And then you go about, living your life and that way as well. But this community, it's very much like a community in a library. And I completely agree with you. And that's just kind of how I describe it. Maybe it's not the best way, that it's a very unusual definition of it. But if you can view the social media, especially LinkedIn, as like I'm going to the library and this is what I'm going to do, you can, and you should only do good. You teach and you learn. You teach and you learn. Teach and you learn. This mischief and all of this stuff that you're talking about, that there's no room for that. So if you have that, detect it and get those people out of your library, because they don't give them permission to come to the library. Do you agree, Eunice?
Yes, I do. I do. That's a wonderful submission. That's a wonderful submission, because it's all about how you view something, your perspective over something. That's the only way. Yes, that's also is going to influence your attitude towards that.
You're right. You're right about
so
that.
When we have positive influence in whatever we do, we can go a long way, too. And I want to use this opportunity to really appreciate wonderful people that are on LinkedIn. There are some wonderful people, amazing souls that are there. And I also want to thank the LinkedIn, their management. Trying to see what they can do. Trying to see what they can do to accommodate everyone, in spite of all odds, in spite of different kind of characters and attitudes and all that.
That's right.
Trying to see, what they can do. The biggest professional network in the world. I respect LinkedIn, and I say it's a platform with a difference. And so we can all make it. We can all do something wonderful. We can all, just like I said in the beginning, the world we live in is a very mysterious place. Don't always say, okay, this place I am. I'm so comfortable and all of that.
Right.
You don't know what is going to happen tomorrow. And this is why you should be kind. This is why you should be empathic. This is why you should be compassionate to people you come across. Stop maltreating people. Stop throwing stones on people. Stop working against innocent people. It's not the best. You understand? It's not the best.
It's not the best, and there's no future of prosperity with that attitude at all. It's just not there. So I completely agree with that. Eunice, we've got Ann here. Ann, thank you very much for tuning in today. Really appreciate that. And you agree that we share our knowledge, and those who need it will use the information or not. And that's so true. And really appreciate you coming here as well. And Ann agrees with you, Eunice, that we do need more kindness in the world, and so we all need to do our best there as well. We have Nazia here. Nazia, thank you very much. So seeing through the heart, it's the physical appearance, it doesn't matter. It's the heart to heart. And I appreciate you acknowledging that. And If we can influence and educate others to see each other heart to heart instead of eyes to eyes, it changes everything, how you view things. And then you can live the kind of life that Eunice is talking about. So Nazia, thank you for that as well. I think that's really important. And then one more, and then we'll get back to our conversation. Anne totally agrees. We share our knowledge and experiences. The seeds we plant will be sowed by the right people. You're right about that. Not the wrong people. The wrong people are wanting to destroy the crop. So understand who they are and keep them out. Okay, that's my advice. And it's very important to detect who they are and keep them out. You can do it respectfully, but you've got to keep them out so that you can so that the people that are willing to contribute and the people that truly want to do good for God, then they can come and they can reap the benefits of what we have to teach. Any comments on that, Eunice?
Yes, I want to first of all thank Anne. Anne has been a very wonderful person. He's my friend from London. He's one of the people that have shown us what kindness is all about. She makes a lot of sacrifices for a lot of people. I know that's why I'm saying we have some wonderful people on LinkedIn, irrespective of whatever that is going on. We have some wonderful people, some good people. And so this is why we should not be downcast. We should continue to work hard. We should continue to do what we are doing, and to be also to be more compassionate and kind and empathic to people. We can wake up on a day and say, today I'm going to do this for somebody. Everything is not about money. You understand? Everything is not about money. You can give somebody, you can create a path for someone that is much more than money. You understand? You can create a path for somebody that is much more than money. You understand? So that is just right. It. So we should always see every human being as human beings. Nobody has in this life, nobody has ever begged God, I want to come, I want to be a native of this place. Even your mother, even your parents, even your husband, even your wife, you some of us never asked of them, but we saw ourselves where we saw ourselves. So it's something we have to be grateful about. Don't taunt people because of where they're coming from. Yes, don't taunt people because of where they're coming from. You are not the creator. You never created those people. And you are not the one who asked them to come from such country where they're coming from.
Right.
If you really say you are showing gratitude, if you really want to tell us that you are showing gratitude, the best thing you can always do is to love every human being. The best thing you should do is to show kindness to everyone.
Yep.
Try to see what you can do for somebody, for strangers, even people you don't even know. Try to do one thing for them. Study people that are very serious. There are people that are serious in LinkedIn that are working day and night. You know that these people, they are real and they're wonderful people. Why don't you support such people? Why don't you encourage them? Why don't you do something for them instead of working down on them and then trying to do a lot of things, inbox this person and start the nonsense discussions? I don't know from where it is coming from. Having meetings, irrelevant and negative meetings. I don't know from where it is coming from. Why? What can you say is your reason?
Right.
What can you give or say this is the reason why you are doing this? Can you say can you give us one reason why you are doing that? This is not fair. It's
Yeah.
I think give everyone an opportunity. Love everyone you see. Embrace everyone. You don't know where your own people are going to go tomorrow. You don't know where your children are going to go tomorrow. You don't know what is going to happen tomorrow.
Right.
We should be sensible. It's important we become sensible.
It's so important. And I just like to add one thing that you just said, which I agree with. And you know this, Eunice, that I've worked across 30 countries over 30 years. And I'm going to say something now that most people don't know, and at least this was true a decade ago. The country of Zimbabwe in Southern Africa has one of the highest literacy rates in the world. Now, people from the in the U.S. that went to Harvard or Stanford, no, that can't be true. That can't be. It's true, okay, and that's because of the youth and the prioritization of literacy on the youth. I spent significant time in Zimbabwe. The people in Zimbabwe are very smart. The same can be said of in Nigeria. That's where you are right now. The same can be said in lots of other places that I've been. I haven't been to Nigeria. That's the truth yet, but I need to come there and see you, Eunice. But I spent a lot of time in South Africa, in Zambia, in Botswana, in Namibia, Mozambique, Tanzania, even Kenya, Uganda, these places, and then the northern belt of Africa. These are highly intelligent people. So I do not stereotype, okay, people just because they're not from where you're from. I have seen 30 different countries around the world, and the smartest people haven't come from one country. They're all smart, okay? And so you're right, Eunice, and I just wanted to add my perspective onto that. It's so important to understand, connect, get to know people, because you will learn things that you never thought possible. And you can't learn this in a book. You learn by how you engage with other people, how you talk to them, how you treat them, using your words, do something for them, okay? And they'll do something for you, okay? But don't just expect people to do something for you, or to say, well, you're from the U.S., so I don't want anything to do with you, or you're from Singapore, I don't want anything. It's not that way at all. Somebody from Singapore, okay, I could tell you that the U.S. government could learn amazing things from the Singapore government, but not the other way around, okay? I can tell you that almost any country in Africa, there's so much to learn about resources, okay, and what that really means and how it operates. Farming, agriculture, you know this, right? All of these things that the Africa produces so much for the world, but it's got people there, real human beings in Africa as well, that need to benefit from these resources. And in many countries, I'm not going to isolate countries, but in many countries, the local people are not able to benefit from that because of corruption. Okay. And so it's important that everybody understand, as this is just one example, understand that there's different situations that everybody is part of. And by understanding that and having some empathy, you can learn so much, because they'll give so much to you. Okay, so I wanted to really add that in, and I think you raised an exceptional point here. And Nazia, thank you for this podcast. And yeah, I mean, I love talking about these things with my friend Eunice. Now, Eunice, we must do something. We're getting low on time, but I'm going to put something on the screen here, and I'm going to ask you to talk about it. So just bear with me a second here. And here we go. Okay. Eunice, talk to me about what this photo means to you.
These are my students. As the See Differently Cluster Mentorship students. They pose with me in this picture. All amazing children. I don't know, they make me happy each time I see the kind of improvement in their lives, the kind of things, the changes I'm seeing in them. It makes me, feel, sometimes I feel emotional about it, because I said, I don't know that I can be able to do this, you know, I don't know I can be able to do this. And I believe that once your mind asks you to do something, just go on to do it. You may not know, how you are going to complete it, but you will surely complete it, and in a way you don't you that is going to surprise you. So these are my students, wonderful kids. All these students, they talk about emotional intelligence, they talk about critical thinking, all of them. They write projects together, they do a lot of things together, they share their stories with us. So it's something to I am really happy that I ventured into this. And I'm glad that this kind of thing has happened, because I told myself, somebody was asking me one time, what are you going to be remembered for? I said, I want to be remembered for as someone that is interested in people, in building people, in building people. So that is it.
That is spectacular, and what a great legacy you're leaving for people. And I know that photograph, those children in that photograph, I know someday, and I don't even know them yet, but, and I know you know this too, someday these people, every one of them
They're
is
going to go far.
they're going to go far.
Yes.
And they're going to do something very special in this world. And I hope that they see this conversation. I hope that they see this. And Eunice, I'd like for you to also, I'd like for you to tell these students that you're mentoring, I'd like to make them an offer for you and me and them, if they want to get on a video, and they can ask me any questions, anything that I can do to provide. I'll give an hour of my time to, they can ask me questions, they can, I can ask them questions, anything that would help in their development that you determine would be important. I'd be very happy to do that. And I would invite everybody watching this to do the same thing. Okay, whether it's with Eunice's students or any other students as well, that if you can take a group of the younger people and make a difference in their development, that's really what Eunice and I want to get across today, that you can make that difference, because the things that we spoke about, that Eunice spoke about for the past hour, people can't learn that in school because it's not taught. In school, they learn about chemistry and language and mathematics and, all this other stuff, right? And that's important, but the schooling will never be able to teach these life skills that Eunice is leading the effort through the work that she does to these students. And that photo that we showed a moment ago, here it is again, is just that photo is an everlasting legacy. Go ahead, Eunice. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I wanted to chip in. You were talking about life skills, so I wanted to chip in, especially all these soft skills, like when you talk about problem solving skills, communication skills, emotional intelligence, critical thinking, teamwork, all of them, time management, all those soft skills, kindness. I'm so happy that these students, they are very handy with all these soft skills, because that's what is going to lead them, far, not just about school, but also in the world. As very soon they'll be sitting for their WAEC, their final examination. Some of them will be sitting for their final examination. And I'm so glad of what they've learned, what they're going to take to the society. And it is not even stopping there. I still continue with them wherever they are. I continue with them. We continue, because they're very fond of me, and it's just amazing. It's just amazing.
It is amazing. It is amazing. And it's so important because we're talking about the future of the world. That's really what it boils down to. It's the future of not just the workforce, but it's the future of the world, right? Is the investment that we as leaders of a community put into the children. That's the future, and ultimately that is the legacy, right? And so, Eunice, you're living a great legacy. I have the deepest respect for you, and I really appreciate the time that came on the program. Any final words from you before we sign off today?
Yeah. Thank you so much, Brett, for having me today. I just
Hmm.
want to use this opportunity to thank all my friends. All my friends, I want to thank LinkedIn in a special way for the
Yep.
opportunity of so many things, the LinkedIn learning and all of that. I've learned a lot. I've developed myself professionally and otherwise. I've mingled with people. I do tell people, look, if there is no school that will teach me what LinkedIn taught me, if even if I had stayed like 20 years somewhere, I wouldn't have, what I learned in LinkedIn is something that is beyond words, especially attitude of people, character of people, how I can be able to manage people and all of that. It's
Hmm.
amazing. It's amazing, and I'm happy I came into LinkedIn. I know it was God purpose. I know it was for a reason,
Yep.
and I know that LinkedIn will look into some of these people that are attacking others on LinkedIn, uh, you know, doing some things and all that. But I know LinkedIn are doing their best. They're doing wonderfully well. Once you report to them, they take action immediately. So this is why LinkedIn will always remain my first platform in the world, and the best platform ever in the world. Thank you so much.
That's
Yeah.
fantastic. I think that's great. And what a great note to end on. Thank you, Eunice, so much for your time today, and most importantly for the work that you're doing as well. I'd like to thank all of you for tuning in, and thank you for those of you too that engaged with us. And again, I encourage all of you watching this on the replay to please feel free to ask us questions about this and how you can help mentor students, which will help shape the future. Please join me again later this week. I'll announce it tomorrow, but I'm going to have another special guest this coming at the end of the week from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. A wonderful woman who I'm going to put on the program, and we're going to talk about a very popular subject, unusual subject as well, but one that I really live my life under, which is how can you live younger? That's going to be our topic, and it's going to be a fascinating thing. So stay tuned to the Packard Network for that. And I'd like to thank all of you again for tuning in today and wish all of you a wonderful week ahead. Thank you.